Kaitlyn, I want to start with you. As Stephanie, you are the holder of the secrets, pretty much, or
Hmm.
so how does it feel to have to play a character where pretty much you have to tell the whole family, so yeah, we're goners if we don't do what we have to do.
I mean, I actually kind of see it differently. I feel like it was a lot of what I was walking into this with was, these are my family members. Like, let's fight. Like, let's fight for our lives right
Yeah.
now. And I have all of this information that I'm able to share with you. And thank God I have this information. So let's do what we can to, like, work through this together, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you said she's the holder of the secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
She
cool.
is.
I haven't heard
it's a
that.
really
Yeah.
great way to put it.
And Tara, with that, we saw the dynamic between your character, Charlie, and Stephanie change as far as like her coming back from school, being a little bit estranged, and then kind of when you just start getting used to her being back around, she hits you with this. So how do you feel, as a little brother in that element? Because I read you do have a sister
I
as
do.
well. So how is that dynamic as far as playing, the little brother to where it's like I have to deal with the crazy sister in every element, pretty much.
Well, I have to deal with a crazy sister in real life, so just kidding. No. I mean, as far as building the familial bond and relationship, it was really easy, and we fell into it right away, and it was very interesting to play Charlie as she comes home after not seeing her for months, and she's like, "We're all gonna die."
Yeah.
It was
Like,
it's interesting.
what?
What?
Are
Are
you
you okay?
What happened?
But yeah, I mean, we all bonded and clicked so easily, and she's like my big sister now. So
Yeah, I am.
yeah,
Uh, and Rhea, as Darlene, as the mom here in this whole dynamic, you had moments to where it really kind of made you realize the central theme of the movie was a family. This wasn't like the regular Final Destinations before, to where it was like friends or just strangers. This one was we had to keep a family alive. So in that role as the mother, in that dynamic, what was it like? I guess thinking about these as your children or your family and how to get them to get on the ball.
Well, in some ways, I have the same answer as Teo. I have two kids not far off from age of these two, um, and these two are so warm and inviting and big-hearted that we just kind of fell into each other,
yeah,
really easily. Exploring the work together, exploring life together, eating together. I mean, that part was easy. And that just opened the door for us to kind of talk about life and where we want these characters to take and what pieces we can weave in. And I think to your point, it makes this movie deeper.
Did you all have any moments, and where you can answer this one too, to where you're kind of like watching the other characters, as they kind of die off, and you're like, it's like just one by one going, you're like, oh, there's my niece, there's my brother, there's my sister, there's things like that. So, what I guess sitting there, watching the other characters go, kind of, how did it build some morale as far as like you three being the core?
Well, it's interesting because I mean, this one's so much different than the other ones in terms of it being about a family and people who have known each other their whole lives. So I remember when I read the script, I was rooting for everyone. I was
Yeah.
just really rooting for everyone. Yeah.
yeah. The deaths are pretty awesome, though.
And in this, there's an understood sequence. I don't know if I can say this or not, if it's giving anything away, but we know the order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as Kaitlyn shows us the order, we know who's coming next.
Yeah.
And it just, because it's somebody you know, it's somebody in your family, it's somebody you love, and you know where you stand in the list, those stakes go up really fast.
Yeah.
Final Destination has been playing with my mind for like 25 years. I don't think
Same.
there's anybody in my age group who still can't drive behind a log truck. So being a part of this franchise for you all, what was it like, Richard, for you starting, especially with your character, having a very interesting role in this film?
Everybody always keeps saying they're like interesting or like he's a dick. I was like, I thought I was being perfectly nice. The only thing that's dickish is I know what I look like when I look in the mirror. Like I get it. I get what I give off. I had so much fun playing this character, and he was allowed to, make the quick one-liners and the snarky remarks, which I think on a franchise like Final Destination, which I grew up with and has been terrorizing me for 25 years, is so much fun to play the comedy in it because you just make light of death, which I think is important in the world.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. One thing I really liked about this one, outside of the other movies, is it kind of centers around a family, especially
Yes.
and outside of just like friends. So there's a little bit more attachment to you. It's like we don't need the whole bloodline to kind of go. So Anna, with your role as the one female cousin, you had that moment with Stephanie to where it's like I love you, but I hate you too as well. What do you think that connection would be, I guess, family to family member, where you just have that one person who is kind of ruining everything sometimes?
Yeah, I
We
think
all have a
it's really-
Caitlyn.
No, I actually don't have any cousins that are coming and telling that death's going to kill my whole family.
You
But
don't?
I felt like for the characters that aren't Kaitlyn and were not clued into death, like you have to just think about what it would be, you know what I mean, in your real life. If someone came to you and started saying this, like you would be worried for them. You would be like, what are you talking about?
Not
So
doing well.
you almost like live in a different reality as one of the other characters until you get clued into everything. So I think, yeah, I mean, I love that moment you're talking about because the directors were really careful to like not make everyone a total stereotype. Like they wanted to give everyone sort of moments of humanity and like, you know what I mean, where you can kind of feel for people. And so that's why I think the film has so much heart to it, because it's like you really feel for all the characters.
And Owen, we really felt for you in that one. I really did. I'm sorry. Even
Thanks.
the allergy before, I'm like, oh my gosh, no Reese cups. That hurts me to my core. But one thing really I wanted to ask you about was the stunts. You all had to do a lot in this film, whether it was with, fire getting under you while you're going around a ceiling fan with something attached to your nose, or, a mishap with a garbage truck, or possibly in a hospital. So Owen, for you as your character, did you do any of your own stunts, or how did you prepare to know that, your character was gonna end up that way?
Yeah, not crazy stunts, I would say, but just like it was so physically demanding. Like for that whole sequence, at one point, the directors had a cool idea, which was a cool idea, but it required a camera on like a homemade mounted chest rig, and the idea is that while I'm wearing this chest rig, I'm crawling, but my arm, I wasn't tall enough because the camera would hit the ground.
Touch the ground, yeah.
So we came up with the amazing idea of doing apple boxes, which are just like these little wooden boxes, and we lined them up in 2 big rows, taped them all together, and then I sat there and crawled using the Steadicam, so like that little camera, so it wouldn't hit the ground while acting something out. And I don't think it made it in the movie. So it's just moments like that where, yeah, it's so rewarding.
What made you want to get involved in this franchise of fear that has been here for so long?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been big fans of Final Destination, the way it sticks with people, the way it brings anxiety to life. But it's, as filmmakers, so exciting to work on this movie because, there's no antagonists. There's no killer with a mask on with a knife or monster in the woods. It's really those shots, those close-ups of objects and the way that it connects together and the suspense of it. It's really the filmmaking that's coming for the characters. So as directors, it's so much fun to build those juicy sequences.
And that's so true. There's not a person you can hate in this thing. There's not a person you can put like a face on that you can hate. So with that, and Adam, you can answer this one. Did you all feel any pressure to kind of make the scenes, especially like the death scenes, kind of like bigger than the last ones? I mean, this is the 6th one, so you have to kind of go even bigger, which unfortunately you do.
Absolutely.
What was the
think
pressure?
Well, probably my favorite opening of any of the Final Destination movies was the opening of FD5, which was the last big opening that we've had, and had so much spectacle and scale to it. And that bridge that they shot at is actually just a few minutes from my house, so I've experienced going across that bridge many times. And we really wanted to find a way of bringing that epicness that Final Destination's kind of known for, especially knowing that it's going to be in theaters and on IMAX, that you want to kind of feel something huge on screen. knowing that it's going to be combined with the insanity that Final Destination is known for, that when people go flying out of these buildings or get lit on fire, that you're not going to cut away. You're going to show exactly what happens, which is a really unique, opportunity. And we want to kind of pair that with very relatable fears, like the fear of heights, and kind of give audiences the experience of what it's like to be terrified of being that high up.
It was also kind of fun to make it beautiful. It's set in the 60s, and there's all these costumes and the sunset and this romantic date that the movie starts with that was really fun to kind of lean into and build the romance, because the more perfect this couple feels, the more suspense there is, because they're going to horribly die any second.
And another difference with this one was the fact that it's centered around a family versus like friends or complete strangers, which made it, just even a little bit more sinister. So what was the idea in that, to where you brought, that element of, like, oh yeah, the whole family's going, the last name's going to be out of here when when you wrote it, and either one of you can jump in for that.
Yeah, I mean, making it about a family was really the key idea that got us excited about the movie, because it gives a fresh way into the franchise. It gives a lot of other really unique things. Not only does it allow for the audience to not know how all this is going to work because it's different than the previous 5 movies, it also gives a lot more opportunity for character and depth and emotion, because now these aren't just random strangers or kind of people that know each other a little bit. These are family members that love each other, and some of them, are really close. Some of them are a bit far. Some family members aren't even around and have to come back. And so that gives a lot more meat to that bone. And the reason we love that is it increases the stakes even further. Now when someone dies, you really, really, really need to make sure the next person doesn't, because this is someone that you've grown up with. And that allows for the film to even be that much more intense.